नाजरीन, एक नई वीडियो के साथ हाजिर खिदमत है। आज की वीडियो बड़ी ही शानदार वीडियो है। ब्रिटिश इंटरनेशनल कपल ट्रैवलर, ब्रिटिश का जो ये जोड़ा है, ये पाकिस्तान में मुख्तलिफ़ मकामात पर इन्होंने अपना टूर ट्रिप मुकम्मल किया है और ये सीरीज़ है उनकी। मुख्तलिफ़ शहरों में वो गए, उनका एक्सपीरियंस, उन्होंने वहाँ पर रहन सहन, बुदोबाश, तर्ज ज़िंदगी और फिर लोगों का गुफ्तगू, लोगों के साथ घुल मिल गए और घुल मिल कर उन्होंने वो जो परसेप्शन है, जो मिसपरसेप्शन पाकिस्तान के ख़िलाफ़ हमारे पड़ोस ने फैला रखी है, क्योंकि ये सारे काम जो फफे कुटनियों वाला काम है ना, वो बसंती मासी वाला काम वो पड़ोसी ही करते हैं। तो पड़ोसी ने ऐसा जाल बिछाया हुआ है, वो एक मिसपरसेप्शन कायम कर रखी है। फिर इंग्लैंड में बैठे हुए भी इनके आका हैं, इनके टाउट हैं, वो वहाँ बैठकर मुख्तलिफ हमारे जो फॉरेनर हैं उनको मिसपरसेप्शन और इस किस्म का प्रोपेगेंडा जो है वो फैलाते। लेकिन देखिए यहाँ इतना बड़ा ज़बरदस्त, जब वो ख़ुद पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस, ईव और बॉब, ये दो बड़े यहाँ पर, जब दोनों कपल यहाँ पर ब्रिटिश आते हैं, वो देखते हैं, मुख्तलिफ शहरों में जाते हैं, तो वो उसके बिल्कुल बरअक्स ज़िंदगी को पाते हैं। वो समझते हैं कि हमारे तो वहम गुमान में लोग कितने मिलनसाज हैं, हम लोगों का तर्ज ज़िंदगी कितना है, अखलाक कितना अच्छा है। वो किसी चीज़ से कोई चीज़ उनसे ख़रीदते हैं तो उसके पैसे भी नहीं लेते, वो रिफ्यूज़ करते हैं। तो उनका ये एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ज़्यादा रहा। वो कहते हैं कि लोग हमें पसंद करते हैं, पूरी दुनिया में से कहीं से भी फॉरेनर आते हैं, वो उसको सिक्योरिटी फ्राहम की और हमें जिस किस्म की सिक्योरिटी मिली, वो एक कमाल दर्जे की सिक्योरिटी दी गई। और फिर जब हम एयरपोर्ट से आए तब से लेके अब जब तक हम वापस नहीं चले गए, सब कुछ उन्होंने बताया कि इस कदर शफीक और पोलाइट और हम्बल और लोग खुश अखलाक हैं, लोगों का तर्ज ज़िंदगी, लोगों का मिलनसाज रवैया बिल्कुल ही, वो कहते हैं कि हमारे माइंडसेट से बिल्कुल मुख्तलिफ। तो यहाँ की ज़िंदगी से वो बड़े मुतासर हुए और पाकिस्तान में उन्होंने जितना भी वक्त गुजारा, ये इब्तदा तो हो चुकी है कि अब दुनिया हमारे मुल्क के बारे में एक पॉजिटिव राय रखती है और एक
Eve, and this is Bob. And we have just completed a short trip around Pakistan, visiting Lahore, Islamabad, and Peshawar. Do not worry, we know there's so much more to explore in this incredible country, and we do have plans to go back in the summer. Right now, it was just a little bit too cold for us. Don't fear, we are coming back to explore the north. This video is going to be about our experience as Western tourists visiting a country that we are constantly told is unsafe. So before we get into the video, me and Eve are actually going to make a charitable donation here. In this part of the world, there is of course a lot of we're doing now. It felt like a much better way to spread a donation to more people rather than, because as Eve said, you can't give money to every single person that you see. So yeah, we felt this was a better way. But anyway, let's get into it. So before we arrived in Pakistan, we already felt a little bit nervous. We have travelled around Asia for 2 years now. Pakistan that makes you feel a bit more nervous. I think this came through mainly as we were talking to like family and friends before we actually got to Pakistan. There was already a lot of anticipation, being like, "Oh, is it a safe country? Is it going to be okay?" And we're quite lucky because we know a lot of people personally that have gone to Pakistan and told us how much of an amazing experience they've had and all that kind of thing. So that helps because like we knew people that had been there for each other, this and this. So you already have these like preconceived conceptions about how somewhere is going to be. I think a lot of the time as well, people don't know what's there because it's never considered as like a tourist destination, and people are just like, oh, even if they didn't say, is it safe, they were like, why are you going there? Like, exactly. The point? Like, what can you see? But this could not be more far from our experience when we were there. I don't know if more far is further from the truth. Pakistan is a very, very misunderstood country. Impressions when we arrived in Pakistan. One of the very first things I noticed is the amount of security. We had guards, security personnel on our hotel, at the malls, outside shops, like down the street. They're everywhere. And that makes you feel really safe. Yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock, I would say, to have like armed guards everywhere and be anywhere that you go into. Kind of, they searched you, you had metal detectors, they scanned your bags, they did all of this. And it took a couple of days, I think, to... Shock. Yeah. And I think the other culture shock was the fact that they were carrying huge guns, because the UK, where we're from, is one of the only countries where police don't carry guns. Yeah, not typically, anyway. You said it was a culture shock, but that didn't make you feel unsafe. That was like... It makes you feel more safe. It makes you feel safe. They're there to protect you and keep you safe. In terms of when we were actually walking around, we never felt any kind of immediate danger or threat or anything along those lines. I mean, we were walking around the Lahore centre at night time,
like markets,
busy markets.
Stuff. I think people think it's unsafe, but when you're there, you're just walking around somewhere. You're just walking around a street. Yes, sometimes it's busy and it's crowded, but just like anywhere else.
You feel obviously the same threats as you've got pickpockets, you might have people trying to take advantage of tourists or they don't know the price of things or all that kind of stuff.
I think I did not feel in Pakistan like people were trying to rip me off. It happens often that people in taxis don't try and rip you off because
really nice,
paid around 500 to get here. It's a similar journey, so that is definitely a fair price.
A lot of people were charging us the correct price for tickets, which felt nice because obviously as a Western tourist you do expect to pay a little bit more, but when people are asking for 20 times the price of something, then you're like, hang on a minute. But actually overall in Pakistan I think we
didn't have that, and I think that is because of the kindness of people and the hospitality that you get shown there. But we'll come on to that a bit later.
Yes, more on that to come.
The hospitality that we were shown in Pakistan, because
the people of Pakistan are literally it's a different breed of hospital. People are just the kindest, and genuinely, me and Eve have done a lot of travelling over the past two and a half years, and we have never met people as kind as they are in Pakistan.
Literally never.
And obviously you hear these things we heard these things because we know people that had been to Pakistan. But generally in the UK you don't hear about that side of Pakistan.
But I think that's why when we say when you're walking around you don't feel unsafe, it's because you're surrounded by these people that you know are so kind.
Everybody, when you'd walk around, everybody was very happy, everybody was very friendly, they'd want to talk to you, and I think there is a little bit of that, they don't get many Western tourists in Pakistan. Everybody we encountered was very kind, very welcoming, and this really showed, especially for the kids of Pakistan. We met so many lovely children there, and one time that stands out to us is we were literally dropped off by our taxi a little bit further up the road from our hotel, and we were walking down and we saw these guys playing cricket, and we kind of stood and watched them because it's our first time seeing people just playing cricket in Pakistan. We were having a little watch. Then they invited us over. We had to go batting, bowling, and obviously there's a huge language barrier there. But
there was a bit of a language barrier. I think also because they were kids, they were a little bit scared to say too much. But it's one of those experiences where you don't need to be talking the same language. It's you're playing a game. Another experience that really sticks out where people were so kind and hospitable is, so we like to get involved with the local food and try local food, and twice we got invited to try and help cook the food. This has not happened anywhere else in the world.
In any other country we have travelled. Obviously in Asia food is a big part of the culture, and me and Eve are big foodies, so we will do whatever we can to eat local food. We'd always rather eat local food, street food, that kind of thing, than fancy restaurants and all that stuff.
But how welcomed does that make you feel when you turn up somewhere and they want to show you how they're cooking the food, and they handed me some I don't know what you call them, tongs or whatever to do the food, and that is so much fun and so enjoyable.
We never had it in any other country.
Yeah, I've learned some new skills in Pakistan. So what you see in the media and then what we were actually doing, eating food, cooking food with local people.
Yeah, you would not think you'd be doing that if you went to Pakistan, but if you're happy to get involved, that is definitely something that you will end up doing. One of mine and Eve's best days across our recent Pakistan trip was actually in the very place that the UK government quite close to the border with Afghanistan. So already coming from the west, you'd hear Afghanistan and alarm bells would start ringing and you're like, oh, maybe you shouldn't go there. But mine and Eve's experience could not have been further from that. We had the most amazing time. We did things that we never thought we'd be doing. We met some really, really interesting people and really got the feel of what the way of life is in that part of Pakistan.
It's funny because I think we met like the kindest people when we were there, but that's the place that's meant to be the most dangerous.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking because people won't go there because they're told not to go there, and I feel like it's such a shame that other tourists don't get to experience this part of Pakistan.
Although we should note that sometimes when you go there you get a police escort, which is both good and bad because okay, so one, it's good because obviously again it's there like for safety, to make you feel safe, and it's nice that I guess the Pakistani government are like putting that on because you don't pay for that as a tourist.
And we actually have had a few people comment on our YouTube videos from the Pakistan series saying if you did want a police escort, it is possible to get them if you make contact with the police station. They will come around with you. However, I will say we never felt this was necessary.
It didn't feel necessary. And another thing is like part of the enjoyment of going there is like connecting with local people, and if you have a police escort, I'm not sure you always get that. But
you don't get the same type of experience as if you were just there by yourself.
Or with a guide, because we had a really amazing tour guide in Peshawar as well.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Michael Shahid, who told us about another fantastic experience we had there, which was the Loch Mela Festival in Islamabad. He actually recommended this place to us, and when we tell people from the UK, we went to a Pakistani festival, they're thinking, oh my god, like, why? What's there? Why would you do that? But honestly,
it was so fun.
I mean, we had no idea what to expect, but it was an incredible experience. It was probably the most fun we've had in like a few hours ever.
It was definitely one of our best days.
Yeah,
Pakistan. Like the best experience.
It was a culture festival, so you get to see really the whole of what Pakistan has to offer as a country, and people are very proud to be from Pakistan, and they want to show you from their province, like how they do things, the food, the drinks, the dress, the customs, and we had the best time.
That was so much fun, and that was such an unexpected thing. Like the real point of this is the fact that our experience there is the real sort of Pakistan that we love.
I felt very welcome there as a tourist, which I think was the special thing.
Yeah, it really was. Only 2 times where I felt unsafe during our trip in Pakistan. Now, one of them is literally not related to the country we were in at all, but there were some dogs that were following us.
Not specifically related. Obviously, you get dogs all over Asia. There was one time we got out of the taxi a little bit too early than we should have done, and there was like this alleyway where there was a few dogs.
There was a few dogs. So that is literally nothing to do with Pakistan. And if anything, there were some local people that tried to shout the dogs away from us. So thank you for that.
Whoever you may be.
And then the second time was literally as soon as we had landed in Pakistan, we got in a taxi in the airport, and for some reason, like 5 minutes outside of the airport, our taxi was pulled over, and some guards, or military personnel, I don't know, asked to see our passports, and they basically wanted to hold our passports, us to drive a different route, and then collect them on the other side.
I think it was to come back at a bit of a later time to get. Obviously, when you're in a new country, getting your ID checked is very normal. Like that type of thing you do expect, but we didn't ever expect to hand our passports over and then have to pick them up at a later time. That really threw. And we kind of stood our ground a bit and said, we've got our visas, our passports, everything, because we'd just landed. And they did get, and then somebody else came over and they gave us our passports back.
I think the person was just being a bit difficult because someone else came over, gave us our passports back, and said, please just drive round. But that experience was, I think it's because we just landed, we'd been travelling for hours and hours, we'd hardly slept, and so that did make me feel like a little bit on edge, shaken up. But like I say, we just arrived there.
And of course, you have to remember that experience. That was our worst experience. Compared to everything you hear, it's nothing like that at all.
But it's only right to share the good and the bad. So
this is our overall experience after all.
People would not let us pay for things in Pakistan. They would say, "You are my guest. Like, I won't take money from you."
We experienced this a lot over the country, didn't we?
Yeah, it's really crazy because for us, we would be like, no, like, please, like, let us pay, because in our culture, like, that's
You
just
wouldn't really get free
unheard
food
of.
ever.
But then you also, like, don't want to offend people if that's
And you're like
how
forcing
it
them. I mean, we did
works.
a lot of the time. We had people say, "No, we don't want money," but obviously, you have to remember. I mean, we're in a poorer part of the world, so we want to support everybody everywhere we can. So we want to pay for food, and there were a
And
few
people
times
are
where we
just-
did push and say, "Please take it, please take it," and sometimes people did take it. And
But people
other
are
times
just-
people were adamant, like, "No, I don't want to take your
Yeah.
money. Like, you are a guest. Please let me give you this."
That was a bit of a culture shock, to be honest, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like people are just running their business, so you don't want to just take things for free. But it's just like, it's the kindness
just
and it's
so
the hospitality,
lovely.
isn't it? That's what we're saying.
Unique experiences that we have ever had across all of our travels, and
Yeah,
I'm hoping
we have.
that through our Pakistan YouTube series you can see that, and we've aimed to try and share those experiences with you guys. And obviously it's important to remember we have been to 3 places in Pakistan. Like, there is so much more of this country to discover,
explore, and that we are going to explore.
yes, very soon actually, so stay tuned.
Okay, so I think we're gonna leave it there with talking about our experiences. This has been a bit of a different video.
Yeah, we
for
hope you've
us.
actually
We've not-
enjoyed listening to us
We-
yapping on about our trip.